We're live. Who all is in here? Let's see. Danny Boyd was here crazy early, as was LP94 Lars, an unfinished project. Danny Boyd taking numerous guesses as to what the thumbnail was. Danny Boyd, that is an AMC 258 six-cylinder that I rebuilt the top end of back in 2017. Yes, those cylinder walls are rough. It needed to come out, but that was all we could do at the time. And the top end needed doing, but it still is together and runs great. Unfinished Project says registration is open for the 4th annual AHRA No Name Nationals in 300 days and 3 hours and 56 minutes. So the link is pinned at the top. If you want to register earlier than you ever have, you may. A handful of people figured out that registration was open before we announced it. But yeah, you can register. You can register. You can get your weekend passes and everything. And weekend passes, spectator tickets did not go up this year. Yes, Danny Boyd, they could, but it still runs good, doesn't smoke or anything. AMC used a small cap Duraspark. Yeah, it's a lot of Ford parts in there. Dean is here. LSS Drone Photography is here. By the way, if you haven't seen it, I put it on my community tab. LSS Drone Photography had a run-in with a trucker on I-81. Got interesting, a little road rage going on, swerving to the guardrail in the left lane and brake checking him and stuff. And anyway, the video made it to the local news. And that's on my community tab if you want to see both the video and the news piece done on it. But the trucker got fired, I think, on Wednesday. So anyway, LSS Drone Photography, Steve lives an exciting life. What can I say? The one-eyed cat, Don, good evening from Cleveland. You visiting your Uncle Sonny? Cope is here. He says potato and spider webs. Right on. Bear Rose Garage, good to see you. Glad you could make it by tonight. Dean asks how the Wu-Tang Clan could be a clan when it only has 9 members. I don't know. Dean asked ChatGPT, how many people is a clan? And it said from a few to 100. Okay. Dean, you wonder the weirdest things. 6th Street Garage Cottage stickers. Cool. Glad you did. And that just in general, if there's anybody new in here who does not have No Name National stickers, all you have to do is let me know. I'll send them to you. For those faithful few that come in here before the season starts, stickers are free. Grand Pito Vic, Turbo Tom. Levi is here. Heavens Mopar Scott. He said hello and everyone to me and everyone else. Let the games begin. Yes. It's we got a date earlier this year. How about that? We're going to make an event announcement, though, a little bit later, a little over a month from now. And we got some cool stuff coming. Again, we never make big changes to this event, because why do you want to make big changes to something that's so cool and people enjoy it? But we do want to make some, always making some changes, administrative refinements, and a few new things here and there. Some things I want to do. Mohawk is here. 38 Racing is here. Mama M3, a.k.a. Colleen. Bobby Frizzell. We got all of South Carolina in the house tonight. My Aunt Nancy's here. Pure Pontiac Garage. Jason's Garage and RV Repair. How's it going, sir? SSR Performance, a.k.a. Big James. Glad you're here. Big James, by the way, that intro that Lars made has a good clip of your Nova in it. So I'm making a custom intro for this channel. And I appreciate Lars letting me use that one, but I'm going to definitely keep the clip of the Nova. I didn't know that Nova could get up like that on the tires. That's pretty wild. Let's see here. LC Chapel is here. Danny Boyd wants to know if the trucker was wearing flip-flops. I have no idea. He told Steve he was #1, though, when he went around. According to his company, he was fired. Right, that's what I thought I read. Heading out to the guys that never done projects tomorrow, going to the burnout contest with them tomorrow night. Right on. And hey, if those guys want a really cool burnout pit, let them know about the one we have in Sykeston. You can put on a good show in that one. Dean is telling my mom, I hope attempt to obliterate my spelling error. Yeah, mom will catch it. She can get the red pen out on you, Dean. Barrow says 301 and counting. Yeah, actually, we're 300 days and 3 hours and 51 and a half minutes. Oh, McDonald just sneaking in now. Glad you're here. Registration 90 each person or car. It says explicitly on the website what registration is. It's $90 per participating vehicle, and that includes one human. Humans 13 and under and dogs are free. Humans 13 and older either have to be included in a registration with a vehicle or they need to have a spectator ticket. And the website makes it very clear how to add up your registration. But if you make a mistake, don't worry. I mean, I've had people make that mistake and they, had a spectator with them and they did 2 registrations. No problem. Email me, we'll fix it. We don't want to burn anybody. We know what it takes to put on the event. It's not cheap. Tim Jacobson, what's going on? For those of you who don't know who Tim Jacobson is, Tim Jacobson is the fellow who is running the world's first E4OD trans brake that was made by John Cope. And in fact, his truck was the test mule. And I saw it up there at Cope's shop when he brought it in. And Tim, are you planning to come to the 4th annual No Name Nationals? I heard a rumor that you were. And if you were, we'd all like to see you do it. Max Wedge Dick Dastardly, how's it going, sir? The steering wheel holder left a baggie of feces to Love's on 77. Dude, I know where the Love's on 77 is. If you're talking about the one there at Cana, Virginia, I'll watch where I walk. Bad Tree Productions in the house, says Congregate Heathens. Yes, sir. Unfinished Project, aka Cookie Monster. Those guys want to go to No Name Nationals? Yeah, right on. Tonight's intro seemed shorter. Danny Boyd, I don't know how. It's exactly the same 36 seconds as every time. I used to know this guy that he had someone that worked in his office and says, hey, can you back when you had printed pictures, and her name was Violet. Hey, Violet, which of these pictures do you like best? And he would hand her, duplicate prints of exactly the same photo. And she'd say, oh, I think this one's better. Nah, maybe this one. And it was the same picture. Danny Boyd, that's the same exact intro. But I am going to modify it a little bit, and actually a lot of it. And several of you guys are going to find your way into it. Blake says, my dog is 15. Yeah, Blake's husky. I'd get Jethro in here on a live. I think Jethro has been on a live maybe once or twice. I think one time he came over to the desk and stuck his head up to, about here or something. You could see him and took off. But it's too bright in here for him. It's just not his bag. Okay, cool. I need to read the website. Yeah, if you go to nonamenationals.com, it will tell you on each card item exactly how to figure up your registration fee. Tim says, yes, indeed. Well, cool. If I think I saw Unfinished Project in here. If one of the mods can put up the link to Tim's channel, that would be awesome. Tim, where are you with subs, man? Because you definitely can do it. You've got the content. You're a go-getter, so you won't have any problem. I'm just curious where you are right now. And you got over 300 days to do it. Guns and Gears says he heard a rumor that I was the original driver of the Equalizer monster truck. I can confirm that's a no. Can't remember what that cat's name was. David something, I think. He was out of Tennessee. I have an original picture of his truck hitting Gravedigger in the shutdown at the Roanoke Civic Center that some guy took with, must have been like a Kodak 110, and blew the picture up huge. I used to have it on the wall back here. And that was the Equalizer in that photo with the flat tire. So if you go back to my live streams a couple of years, you can see it in that. Tim has 10 subs. Cool. That's there you go. So Tim, you're 2% of the way there, and you got 98% to go, and we can help you. And you got all kinds of time. So and registration is open, but we opened it earlier this year. Generally, we try to help the people first who have made that commitment to register. But that said, we were open earlier than ever. So this is kind of like free time. This is bonus time right now. So we'll get the link up for Tim's channel and go check him out, because I'll tell you, there's a lot of cool stuff on there, including you can see the first runs with the with that Ford E4OD/4R100 trans brake valve body, which was a pretty big deal because there was not one before Cope made it. Thank you, Guns and Gears. Thanks for coming by. 11 subs for Tim now. I hit lucky number 11. Hey, that's my number, man. Street Fox Mike, thanks for coming by. I see Tim 72 Demon. Stop by before I take my wife out for her birthday dinner. Well, cool. Happy birthday. Brian Beeler, not to be confused with Bueller. I always remember Ben Stein calling roll in class for Bueller when I see, for whatever reason. But I enjoy Beeler's channels, his round them ups. He kind of does when you would get the trade papers and browse through them, he kind of does a video version of that where he hosts it. I just think that's so much fun. 300 days to be ready for a couple of match races. Oh, and I'll tell you something else about Beeler, what he does with that too. If you're planning to shop for a car, he's showing cars that are for sale. But if you watch that and he goes through, let's say, I don't know, 30 Chevelles, for example, you're going to have a really good idea what those cars are worth. He does the comps for you for pricing, which I think is a very hard thing to do. So, if you're in the market for something, watch it. You might not be interested in that car here or there, but helps you figure out what they're actually commanding the market. It's a nice niche. He does a good job with it. Heavens Mopar Scott says the wife's garden is officially finished. He just finished shoveling 9 yards of gravel. Did you shovel 9 yards of gravel by hand? My gosh. One less project to do in the spring. Well, it's a good thing you'll still be in traction. SSR Performances may have missed my question. Is small tire still on or being replaced with new class in the works? It's not being replaced with the new class in the works, but I kind of want to just do some match racing. And I'll tell you why. I don't want to see, the crew of the 28-10-5 guys come in there that come in for the payout. I want to see the community grow. And I figured, well, we'll run this as many years as we can until that becomes a thing. And we haven't seen our numbers rise up to that. So what I want to do is I'd like to replace that with some good match races. And we can match race 28-10-5 versus 28-10-5. But I want to modify it a little bit. We're still going to have fast cars. In fact, we can still have the fastest cars, but I just want to do something a little bit different. And plus, too, it really needs to have a 16-car field. And what happens is we always have braking and attrition and everything else. Just the way it goes. Tim says, I think I have 9 making content now. No, you've already got at least 11 or 12. But I'll tell you, man, ask these guys here. I would recommend registering, because when you register, you go, there's a No Name 500 guy, which you will be. You'll go up on my site. They go to my site and see who all is registered and needing to get their subscribers. And that goes a long way toward helping get your channel out there. You've already got the content. You're already doing the good stuff. So it'll happen. Straight 6 Fan Grant listening in tonight while editing a thumbnail and wrapping up the next upload. Well, that's cool. I'm surprised how many people listen to this versus watch it. I guess I have a hard time imagining why people would do either. Max Wedge, Dick Dashley asks, is there an easy cure for a slight overlap on a 727? Which lever are you running on the second gear band? Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly. And what kind of shift kit might you be running? It's another good question. I think I'd want to figure out why it's overlapping instead of just throwing out ways to fix it. They have Bobcats for that, yeah. Warning Labels Racing is here. What's going on? B&R is here. How's scenic Idaho? Did I get that right? Are you guessing where the Bad Tree guys are? Let's see. Still not caught up. Yeah, Tony's sub number 13. You're getting there. Iowa City, Ohio. Okay. Yeah, Beeler says that my channel is way more subs than I ever dreamed. Well, it's because you're doing a good job and you got a great niche there. You're good at it. So I enjoy it. And I'm not even one of those car shopper kind of guys, but I like the way you do your presentations on them and your summaries. I just think it's good stuff. It's enjoyable. And you learn a lot too. I learn a lot about the different makes of cars when you do them. Turbo Tom put up a short after work today, the factory drive shaft loop on a Hemi Wagoneer. Over 800 views so far. Yeah, cool. CRV has a factory drive shaft loop on it too. Warning Label Grayson says, I'm just here. Okay. Better than just there. It's a reverse pattern valve body. So it's a manual valve body and it's a 4.3 lever. Okay. That's interesting. I was looking for the kind of the obvious ones there. Sometimes people get overlap with the 5-to-1 lever. I don't know. It's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question for Cope. I put out the couple things that this amateur schmuck knows, but Cope can help you sort that out. Yeah. Bear Rose says that registering for No Name Nationals is good to help you get things done. Yeah. Well, the thing is that dreams are great, but at some point we want to turn them into goals so that you're doing them, right? And so to do that, you got to have a deadline and an action plan. And it's easy. We put the deadline up here, and the action plan you guys all come up with. Got any new channels already signed up yet? We got a bunch of channels registered because they figured out registration was open before we even announced the event. So that cat's out of the bag. Registration is now open at nonamenationals.com, and the link is pinned at the top. We'll wait till we get about 50 people in here or so, and then we're going to do a giveaway just because I felt like giving something away. Mistaken bad? How can you mistake Bad Tree guys for anyone? Beeler was towing for 25 years? Well, that sounds exciting. Streetbox says, what heat protection would you recommend on a clutch cable beside long tube headers? There's a lot of ways you could do that. I'll tell you who recently did this and might have the best solution for you is Tony's Hot Rod Garage. Because Tony, he fried a cable on a set of headers in the burnout pit at No Name Nationals. So he would be a person, since he's just done this, and he would have the best idea. I'm going to kick that one to Tony if he's listening. But I don't know, man. If not, you could wrap it. You could just build a heat shield with some kind of spacer to keep it off the shield itself. There's ways you can do it. I mean, I'm sitting here wondering. I'm kind of wondering if you could, what would actually kind of work kind of half decently. Those drool tubes like go in the valve covers, go on slant sixes or early Hemis. I wonder if you could take one of those and repurpose it into a heat shield to protect a section of clutch cable. That might not be a bad way to do it. I feel like getting free stuff. Well, you're going to have a chance. But you know what? Tonight, I want to do one of those convoluted ways where I make you guys go in and work for it. I used to do that occasionally when I modded on the other channel over there. And I'm going to do that tonight. It's going to be one of those that's going to annoy half of you, but the half that want to stick with it are going to win something. So Tony brought the heat with both trucks. Yes, he did, but he melted the clutch cable on his Dodge. And Frizzell recommends a heat wrap for the clutch cable. Yep. And there's lots of Lots of ways you can. Mike Finnegan, I am not. Nope. Although, well, now that you say that, you're kind of like our version of Mike Finnegan. DNR said he was on Pontiac Live DCI talking about what Biden did. Okay, talking about nuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's a very BNR type of comment there. Oh, I was wondering what Jody was talking about. Yes, I gave away. Sometimes I give away stuff on you guys' lives too when I see you live. So you just never know. I just try to give back to the community. I make a little bit on YouTube, not much, anywhere from 20 to $100 a month, right? And it just goes back into the No Name Nationals. But that money is kind of a discretionary fund, so that if I just feel like giving stuff away, like swag or whatever, we can just do it. That is the No Name National Slush Fund, is the monetization from this channel. And I do it that way purposefully because I don't want anybody to think that your registration fee, instead of paying for track glue and stuff like that, goes to fun stuff like giveaways, because it is all promotion for the event. But, you know, your registration money goes to pay for the hard expenses of the event. Unfinished project's got a link here. Heat shield for a cable, yeah, less than $20. Yep. Excuse me. Hello, Crystal Kilgore. Thanks for swinging by. Shop Cat. I bet it's cold where you are, man. We've got Canada. We've got New Zealand. I don't think we have Australia in the chat yet. We've got 3 countries. Like when we hit 5 countries is when we have all the party people in here. Street Fox Mike, what's new in your world? He is the closest geographical YouTuber to me. Couple bucks for stamps. Thank you, Barrows. Now, I used my last postcard stamp this week, so I'm going to go grab some new postcard stamps. Cope says B&M says not to wrap shift cables like a jacket. It holds in the heat. Well, I can tell you, if Cope says it, I would tend to believe it. He has a little bit of transmission experience. Like as in half a century. Straight Six fan got his episode up. Cool. You're welcome to drop a link to it if you'd like. One of the mods wants to get his latest episode that just went up like just now. If it's up, post it up. Shop Cat, how cold is it where you are? I thought it was cold here today. Cope from the top rope. Yes, sir. He's got another Mustang like to say, hey, text me a picture of it. We'll all see it. BNR's reminding us when Inauguration Day is. Okay, cool. I can't think of many things I would rather do less on that day than stand out in the freezing cold in DC and watch them. But to those who want to, that's awesome. I did get to tour the White House once in 1988. Didn't see Reagan, but it was cool nonetheless. Cope Race Transmission Cool Channel? Yes, it is. I was premiere for 7:45. Well, there you go. That's easy. It is negative 16 Celsius today, so about 3 degrees. Blue snow in a t-shirt yesterday. You know, all of that sounds positively horrible. Sounds like it's Not fit for human consumption. After Elon buys MSNBC, I'll start watching it again. I heard he was looking at buying CNN for $3 billion. Whatever. I don't know how it's worth that. I mean, anyway. I don't know how to appraise such things. There's things I can appraise, but no, it's not that. Heavens Mopars has a friend who works for Blue Origin who welds on rockets. Lots of cool stuff going on. Oh, that's cool. Welding on rockets. I knew a rocket scientist. We actually have rocket scientists in this area because they, I don't think there's many places in the entire country, maybe only one or two that make gunpowder. And one of them is right here up the road at the Radford Arsenal. And so they have rocket scientists who are responsible for the chemistry of gunpowder. And I knew one of them. And after he did that, he taught at Virginia Tech. I had him for an engineering class. Really cool guy, but he was a legit rocket scientist. And he said that title really doesn't mean that much. How that became a thing, he doesn't know, but they laugh about it. He preferred Steve. Billy Carter turned in some rental beers in that side. Yeah. Oh, Billy Carter, what a character. If only he were on the political landscape today. There we go. There's the link to Straight Six Fans video. Appreciate that, Blake. Blake's good like that. He's a good dude. Kim does not miss the snow. We actually got some flurries here. They were in the air. Driving back from an appointment. We haven't had actual snow on the ground here this in 2 winters. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we had some serious winters. Of course, that was also higher elevation than here. Billy Carter was a good old boy. Yeah, he was. Didn't he get arrested for taking a leak on an airport runway once? It was something similar. Scott says, my grandpa leveled the launch pads back in the day. Well, that's neat. That sounds like quite a process. I wonder how they even do that. I'm amazed watching them level a concrete slab nowadays. Max Wage Dick Dashley says the snow didn't miss us today. Yeah. You're in more the western part of Pennsylvania, aren't you? Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was something like that. Grand Vito Vic gave Straight Six Fan a sub. Cool. Levi said, I just want to race the Kennedy Space Center area. Really cool feeling. Okay. You talk them into letting somebody get a permit for that. That'd be interesting. Middle of Pennsylvania. I don't know much about Pennsylvania. I've been to Don's place. I've been to Carlisle. I don't know much about it. Tony said, I can hear Jethro barking in the background. He must know I'm working on a motorcycle. Probably. He's been ornery today. It's obviously not legal. Well, why? Why wouldn't it be? I don't know. You never know. It might not be big news, but our new Taco Bell opens next week. It's been 2002 that I could get local volunteer runs. Oh, well, there you go. So is the Taco Bell in the greater McGregor area? Or is it in Marquette? Inquiring minds want to know, Blake. One of these years I'll go to Iowa. I've heard it called Pennsylvania by people from there. Yes, I have heard that. That was on a newscast probably 20 years ago. You can find the clip on YouTube. And I think that's where it came from. A newscaster said it. I think he's the one who popularized that. See, that's what I was thinking. Government agencies will rent anything out they need the funding. It all depends on the security of it. Okay, so it's in your neighbor to the east. All right, that's fair enough. I mean, I don't know that I'm going to go 898 miles to go to Taco Bell, but if I'm in that neighborhood, maybe we'll go to Taco Bell. Taco Bell's just always kind of been mildly weird to me for some reason. I don't even think against it. It just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of too mystery meat for me. Shopcat, this is just a road near the Space Center that gets street raced. Oh, then there you go. That's probably even easier. Danny Boyd says there was a 70 to 72 GM pickup imprinted Billy Beer as. Yeah, there were. I've seen some of the ads and stuff and cans. I think there's actually a 6-pack of cans in the Smithsonian. McGregor's only getting a new street light replacement. How many street lights do you have? Because Floyd, Virginia has one. And if you really want to mess with somebody from out of town, you can give them directions to turn at the second light. The second light going north is in Christiansburg, 20 miles away. The second light going east is near Roanoke. It's about 35 miles away, 40. The nearest light going south, I think, is in North Carolina, or could be Stewart, Virginia. I mean, you really go a long way to get to the second light in Floyd. Yeah, we don't have a single stoplight in our country, in our county. Okay. So there we go. There would have been a good trivia question. How many traffic lights are in Clayton County, Iowa? 0. VNR says, I married a daughter of the most important engineer of World War III. That is such a VNR comment. Turbo Tom says, my town only has one street light. Cool. Norman, North Carolina has a blinking yellow light if it's still there. The town I live in has one, Bobby Frizzell says. Yeah, I could see that. You live in a very rural area. Danny Boyd, you are way too into Billy Beer. That's just bizarre. Like, don't you hate it when that happens? You must be on your phone. That happens. Auto corrects like that. Yeah, there's one traffic light in the county. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Floyd has one. From Virginia, like me. Hastings has one street light and it blinks 2,000 feet elevation behind my house. Okay. 2,000 feet elevation is below my feet. I guess that's what, Star, South Carolina? Isn't that where you are in that area? 600 people? Sounds about right. But you're an hour in any direction from a racetrack or big city? Cool. Brian Loans, hope you're not too old to learn. Brian Loans should come in here. He would be like, wow, I'm used to the upscale drag racing folks. I'm not used to guys that are so much cooler and not corporate and cookie cutter. This is fun. Deckerwood Custom says, no red lights in McGregor, is there? Well, I think he just said there's one. Back to Street Fox Mike. He just sent me this. Said he got a new Mustang. Tell you what, Mike's stuff will run. His stuff isn't slow. Not a good town for light-to-light racing. Not here either. My hometown of Basalt, Idaho doesn't have a population sign. We have to go to Firth for school. Rising Sun, Indiana has one flashing red light four-way. That's it. Yeah, tell us about this thing a little bit, Mike. I see Street Fox is still in here. Tell us about this car. This looks pretty cool. I'd imagine it's snowing there. We had snow flurries in the air, but it wasn't really anything. There's nothing on the ground here, I can tell you that. All right, we're over 50 people. Let's do a giveaway. All right, I'm going to do a convoluted one here. This will be one of those aggravating ones. It'll take a while. Maybe. I don't know. You guys are pretty sharp. So I'm going to post it. This is torturous. I'm going to post it, and I'm going to pin the link. All right? I'm going to post it and pin the link. Okay, Blake's already guessing. I'm going to put it up, and the first person can give me this. The answer is going to be a 6-digit number. First person that can give me the number is going to win a No Name Nationals banner. Let's see how this goes. Let's see here. All right. You're going to take these. You're going to combine 3 numbers into one 6-digit number, and that's the answer. First person that gets it wins. Not a bad try, Dan. All right. There we are. What day of Christmas were the drummers drumming? What is the 12th smallest prime number? What is the 2-digit year of the first human heart transplant? There you go. Stick all that together. Make a 6-digit number and win. Was I in goofy mode or what? Y'all can chew on that for a while. Yeah, I know. It's going to take a little bit of working on it, right? It will. And there's always somebody that wants to chew on it a little bit and get us an answer. Fun stuff. "38 says, I'm glad I have a banner." Yeah, but this just gives an opportunity for people. Oh, man. Man, look at this. We already have a winner. I'm going to run it back, make sure we have a first winner. And I believe, yes, we do. We have a winner already. Levi's Backyard Performance got it correct with 1, 2, 3, 7, 6, 7. Congratulations, Levi. Banner coming to you. I thought that would take y'all longer. I really did. Man, Levi must have been just Google fooing that thing. Crystal Kilgore says that my favorite numbers are 1107, 1977. That's your birthday? It's all Brooks. I should have known that. I should have known that. Well, you can tell you what, Brooke wins that banner. So happy belated birthday, Crystal Kilgore. Happy 27th with 20 years experience. The Jarvik. This would have preceded the Jarvik. Done in Cape Town, South Africa. Yeah, congratulations, Brooke. She'll probably hang it in a place where you can see it. She wants to have every No Name Nationals participant and spectator sign it. Okay, you guys see that. So at No Name Nationals this year in 300 days and 3 hours and 16 and a half minutes, that banner will be over there in the pits at the Levi's Backyard Performance. Go over there and you can sign it. Yeah, J-Bo's close. It was almost. But you left those 3 numbers. It had to be 1 number. I Googled the heart transplant. Yeah. That heart transplant was done in, I think, Cape Town, South Africa. Like that useless knowledge? Question, how many building permits does it take to get a new BTP HQ built? Answer, 0. Work on Sundays and bribe the neighbors. Did I say that? $385,460. It's going to be 301 days before those numbers will win anything. Yeah, so you're talking about 385 Series Ford 460, right? 38 is sinking 6. LSS Drone Photography's got us on the television. Yeah, there's a few channels that watch our live stream on the TV. Seems bizarre that they would actually want to have me up there bigger than life. That's weird. See, Brooke's studying for nursing. I thought she would have known. She probably did. She's just being humble. J-Bo knows the answer to how many building permits. J-Bo dang near got that. Oh, old McDonald gets it, but old McDonald needed to have his stream on live. He got the right answer. Her memorizing anything history-wise is a loss. Yeah, everybody's different like that. What's the best way to watch a fishing tournament on a live stream? There was one entertaining thing from a fishing tournament I think I've ever seen. And it was when the dudes got caught cheating here a few years ago. They were putting weights in the fish. Mirrors off his phone. Yeah, I guess, was it Bluetooth to do that? Oh, gosh, Colleen's got me on the 42-inch TV and on the phone. I remember one time someone was watching one of my transmission videos, and his daughter was really into it, was watching it, all the different parts and pieces of the transmission, like it's off electric company or something. And he had me on the big TV. I thought that was interesting, watching a 5-year-old watch transmission tech like it was Sesame Street or something. Oh, gosh, old McDonald's got me on a 55-inch TV. Oh, it's getting weird. Getting weird in here. Peckerwood Customs likes LSS drone photography stuff. Yes, cool stuff, isn't it? Hey, we have Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the United States, California. That's a separate country. That's not part of America. Is anybody from California in here? We need Mexico because we want to get our 5 countries simultaneously. Jabo says breaking news, garage build update. A lot has been brought up to the floodplain elevation. Water and sewer has been roughed in. Insulated footing forms purchased. Cool. Cool. I like it. You're making progress. Yeah, that vertical, it's because it goes into a feed. And it's, yeah. Oh, McDonald's says I keep getting bigger and bigger. Wait till I get an 85 inch. I'll pretend I didn't read that. Then we have shows like this with Worth and only 50. Right. But you know what? Here's the thing. I have 50 people in here that I really want to be hanging out with on a Friday. So that's what I'd rather have. I mean, I would rather have you 50 people than I would have, 1,550 people additional who, want to do attention stunts like sliding down rails sideways, shooting a bottle rocket out of their butt on video. I don't need that crowd. I would rather have you sane and fun people. Colleen says the guys at work were talking about a 100 to 110 inch TV that's on sale. I'll tell you what, I remember there was an 80 inch TV in an electronics store here many years ago, and it just seemed so wild and majestic, an 80 inch television. And man, they have 80 inch TVs at Best Buy that aren't all that bad. I remember paying $500 for a 32 inch TV, then $500 for a 36 inch TV. And you can get more and more TV for the same money as time has gone on. But my little TV just took a dive on me about 2015. I've never had one since. I'm not missing anything. Saying that is debatable. That is correct. That is correct. Be glad that sanity is not a checkbox on registering for the No Name Nationals. I don't know what this is, but if Unfinished Project put the link in, then there you go. Whatever it is. Someone can tell me what it is. Crystal says that's insanely huge. Here's the thing. If you have a 100-inch TV, at some point, you got to have a room big enough that your eyes can get enough of the picture at once that your brain isn't overwhelmed and you're kind of not moving your head subconsciously trying to look at the entire screen and process the image. That would get kind of miserable. So believe it or not, I know this is blasphemous to say, but there kind of is such a thing as a TV that's too big. But, I did. I had a client one time I went in this house and I looked in this room, and the room had this enormous projection TV that was way too big for the room. And they were sitting too close to it. I don't know how they saw anything. The thing was ridiculous. And I looked at it and I said, how did you even get this TV in here? I didn't see how it was physically possible. Turned out the guy worked for a window company, and he just took the windows out of the house, put the TV in, put the windows back. That's how he did it. He couldn't have got it in any other way. He told me that's what he did. And it was a projection, so I'm sure that thing was fun to get up in the air over the wall. There you go. Mohawk subscribed to LSS Drone Photography. I think he told me he had a goal of 500, so he's nearly a quarter of the way there. And the second half of that 500 comes faster than the first half. Dean says, I can make a 98-inch TV 12 inches smaller instantly. I can too with a 12 gauge. It's funny you say that, because there's one of those little shops on the way to Copes, like right there as soon as you get off the highway in his town. I kid him about it. Shopcat says, I know a guy who built the Messerschmitt in his living room. Getting the wing out is how his wife got a new bay window. Yeah, you know what? There was a dude, and I think I even put this on my community tab. He built a replica of a Lamborghini in his basement. Painstakingly made this replica. I mean, we're talking hand-formed, all the sheet metal, built everything himself. I don't know that he used any Lamborghini parts, and it was full size. And then he had to take a wall out of the basement of the house and dig a grade and everything to get the car out. I don't know how a guy smart enough to build a full-scale Lamborghini in his basement was not smart enough to wonder how he'd get it out. And it took him, oh gosh, I bet it took him 10 or 15 years or something crazy like that. And when he was done, he sold it because there was nothing left to do. That was a wild story. Yeah, I put guys like that in the same category as like Don Gorski, the dude in Wisconsin who has eaten 2 Big Macs a day for his entire life for the last, I don't know, 40, 50 years. He's one of those guys, he has his niche in the world and he will be the only one to fill it. And that's great. Dean says, if you turn a 98-inch TV upside down, how many inches is it? I'm waiting. Well, it's measured diagonally anyway. So that's kind of a trick question, right? You cannot use your right to bear arms, John Wilburn. Well, speaking of that, I haven't worn this shirt in years. It makes me kind of laugh. This shirt on the back says, or it reads rather, I got this from Clint Smith, Thunder Ranch, and this is a quote of his. And they put this on the shirt. If you're not shooting, you should be loading. If you're not loading, you should be moving. If you're not moving, someone's going to cut your head off and put it on a stick. Clint was in Vietnam, and I can confirm from people who were there that was a thing. Bad Tree's talking about Elvis. Okay. What if you turn it 45 degrees? You turn it 45 degrees, you're going to break your television. That's what. Old McDonald says there was a guy who built and restored a helicopter in his backyard Florida room. Man, more power to it. I remember there was a guy when I was at Virginia Tech. He was at Terrace View. I think it's Terrace View, these apartments that got torn down recently. And I remember being on his balcony because I had a friend that lived over there. And this guy opened his door and he had a full-scale welding shop in the living room of this apartment. I mean, he had a big steel welding table. He had an arc welder sitting there, a MIG, bench grinder set up in his living room. The whole thing. He had a motorcycle frame on top of the table. So that guy had that right off campus. But then the dude has the LS in his dorm room and they kick it out. They make him kick it out. So what does he do? He takes out the back seat out of his car in his Honda and puts it in the back seat of his car. I thought that was so cool. And I've reached out to him and I told him, hey, man, sometime when you want, we'll get you on a Friday Night Live and you can talk about building an LS in your dorm room and starting it up. So we'll get him in here one of these days. He's amenable to it. Just got to pin down a time. LSS Drone Photography says, go Hokies. Indeed. Bear Rose is speaking in code, esoteric code that only Bear Rose knows. Dean is talking about how complicated the aspect ratio of the television is. Okay. I don't know. And Dan says that's just one aspect of it. Also on a Pantera. Okay. I bet that guy's neighbors loved him. I bet all of our neighbors love us. Yeah, I'm that guy in the neighborhood. Let's see here. I'm this guy in the neighborhood. $301 days, RC Industry says. Well, yeah, it's 300 days and 3 hours and 1 minute. My neighbor has a race car too. I think it's great. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that. I still have a hood for that car. Maybe. LSS drone photographer, you got to send me a Christmas card now. I haven't done Christmas cards yet this year. I may still. I don't know. I may feel inspired to do it. We'll see. Tell you what, I'll do it. I know what I'll do. I'll put a Christmas card out this year. If you've gotten one from me before, I should have your address. If not, I'll try to send one to all of you guys. If I have an address for you, I'll send it. If you're in the chat and you want to get this year's Goofy Christmas card, shoot me an email. Coming to you. Yes, that's me and my mom and Jethro. And there's a video on the making of that card on my channel. Aaron says there's only 2 car guys in my whole area. Yeah, it's got to be a little different where you are. Steve, if you go to my channel, you can see the making of that Christmas card video in Christmas card in 30 seconds. Lakers, later, man. Be good. Have a great evening. Flash images of these Nina Wilburn. She's in that last one. That's me and the mom and Jethro right there. And come on, you ornery thing. Won't focus. There we go. Sixth Street Garage is my nearest neighbor, is about 500 feet. 38 Racing says it's still too close. Absolutely. LSS, I did send those out. I sent those out in 2021. I'll do a different one this year. A lot of people like that card. It was pretty popular. Forgot your wallet. The post office closed. Man, I'll tell you what. There's some things you can mail here, and I think they forget to send them out. RC Industry said I would decorate the Dodge in my front yard like that. I'd be put in jail because the neighbor's really crazy. Oh man, I'll tell you. Poor old Travis Bell, who does the Backyard 400. He has the go-kart race in Indianapolis, and he's got 2 nasty neighbors that hate everything he does and try to shut him down. And he even put in a concrete burnout pad in his backyard. and just lots of fun. But his neighbors are no fun at all. They give him a hard time. I'd say he's number one for most persecuted car guy by neighbors. It's a real shame because he was there first in a long time before. I don't think I could get away with too much here. If I ever moved, I would probably do a 300-foot burnout from here all the way down to the cross street. I did that when I moved off of Atkinson and Christiansburg. 38 says, some evenings I can hear the neighbors using their hole punchers. Don't worry at all. All righty then. If your neighbors want to punch some holes in the privacy of their own property, more power to them. They stole plant out of the garden on my footpath out front. Oh, man. You have a lot of theft and stuff going on there? Yeah, I had, so years ago, my Dart Swinger, it was pretty loud. It was pretty loud. And I had it open headers, had slicks on the back, and I didn't drive it that often, but I drove, it's street legal. I drove it other than the slicks and no exhaust. I drove it around the neighborhood, normal speed, everything, pulled in the garage, took the hood off. I think I was checking timing or something. I can't remember because it's been a long time ago. And this town cop comes rolling up real slow, stops. I'm like, oh, great. What's he here for? He comes up, comes the driveway and starts saying, he just starts grilling on me about the car because the old woman across the street had complained. And the woman across the street reminded me of Lulu Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard. And she was just a terrible neighbor. And she was complaining, because the car's loud, but I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing anything recklessly. But the tires aren't DOT. So the cop looked at the tires, and he starts asking me, did you drive that on the road? And I just told him to get off my property. And I can't believe I had the presence of mind to do that, then. And he did. He left. But I was kind of contemptuous about that whole unnecessary, unwarranted exchange from him. So anyway, I gave that street a good send-off. Billy Squires 385 in the house. Cool. Two Hacks Jeff, what's going on? Jeff's making good progress on his 283. Aaron's a funny dude. Yes, we're really hoping Aaron will come to the No Name Nationals this year. I know it's a long way to come from Australia, but we'd love to see him. Complain about her broom being too loud. That woman couldn't have a broom. She'd lose it. I can't hear my neighbors. I'm too loud. Yeah, that's right. There is a good video of Max Wedge Dick Dastardly doing a driveway burnout at his place. Have you ever seen a Max Wedge car, hood up, 10 spacers under the cross rim of the carbs, so they go across and up, hood won't close, doing a burnout back into his garage? That is so cool. Why that guy doesn't have his 500 subs is beyond me. So, go over to Max Wedge Dick Dastardly's channel and check him out. I mean, that video alone has got to be worth your sub just to know he could do something like that again. So go check out Max Wedge Dick Dastardly. Jeff, can you stick up the link for Mr. Rusnick there for Max Wedge Dick Dastardly? Because I want people to check him out. If you're not already familiar with his channel, he should be. He really should have his subs. This has got to be his year. 2X check, move some more books I was asked to leave. Okay, inside joke, but we're going to make it an outside joke. I'm going to show the clip. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Jeff. Let's see here. Oh, where were we? Here we go. So Jeff, being the helpful guy that he is, wants to help the employees at this bookstore, and I'll let you guys watch it.
Fiction section. Better return some books. Yep, that's where they belong.
So there you go. There's Jeff helping to refile the books. Where was that? Was that Barnes and Noble? Looks like it. Danny Boyd says Max is shadow bait. Yeah, sorta. I don't think they like the name of his channel. I think honestly, I think it's just the capital letters. They get all weird about that. Yeah, Jeff's been doing that for years. I can't say I've ever done that. That is pretty funny. Yeah. Barnes and lots of bull. Yes, indeed. I'll tell you what I hate though. I lament that the reference, the automotive reference section is gone. There's nothing there anymore. Nothing. I bet the automotive reference section, there's probably not a little section of books like this in it, and that's it. I remember when it started really shrinking fast, I bought the last hard copies of David Bazard's books they had here because I knew there was no more of any books coming in, his included. No kidding. Max Wedge is such a neat guy. It's time to get his... Exactly. Go check him out. You know, we want to be doing a 500 live with Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly sooner than later. Yeah, that's what Jeff found tonight, looking for a car book for my dad's birthday. Yeah, good luck. Sometimes I'll go in like Goodwill or the thrift shop, the local thrift shop here, and I'm always curious because every rare now and then I'll find a piece of gold in the book section. But not very often because they've gotten wise to it. And every once in a while you can find some great stuff, but it's not often enough that I go there just to check. But a couple times a year and every once in a while, but it's not very often you find anything good like that anymore. I mean, I remember when the prices were really good, like at the YMCA thrift shop in Blacksburg, for example, but not anymore. They've gotten wise to everything with the internet. And I call it MCHEAP, MCEAP, Montgomery County Economic Assist Program. That place it's never open. It's just never open. I don't even know why they bother. But anyway, I think those stores are kind of neat. Of course, Goodwill's just kind of a racket now. Jeff says, during the Branch Covidian days, I walked in there with no mask and was asked to leave when I told them I identified as masked. That's one of the most Jeff-sounding things I've ever heard. Unfinished Project put up the link to Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly's channel. Everyone buys books online now. Yeah, you can find a lot of great stuff like, Amazon, used books too, stuff like that. Problem is you can't find deals anymore doing that. But whatever. Just be glad people still buy books. There's a lot of young people that don't know what books are. Max Wedge says, the only books I have are tattered antique Chilton's manuals. Yeah, cool. I like the old factory shop manuals, and occasionally, back when flea markets were a thing, you would see those. It was always such a great score. I have some Chevrolet shop manuals. I'll just give away on here sometime. I have a filing cabinet in my garage with a few of those, right? I need to give away some filing cabinets because when I shut down my retail office space, you got to remember, filing cabinets were a big deal. I mean, we had to keep a lot of maps and plats and printouts and all the paper contracts. I used to generate almost an inch of paperwork with every transaction. My gosh, man, I mean, it would take me the rest of my life to fill up a filing cabinet now. So I got more filing cabinets I can ever use. Don't they still have flea markets? Not like they used to. We used to have one of the largest flea markets in the world, if not the largest, at the Hillsville, Virginia flea market. In fact, there was even a town, not a town, there was a state law that specifically exempted towns within plus or minus 10 of that town's population from having to have the notice requirement for the Virginia State Police to have a gun show. State law just to exempt it, the Hillsville Flea Market. It was huge. It was so big, and it has turned to nothing. I remember Happy's and Roanoke. Yeah, and then Happy's Flea Market. I liked it too. I've actually gotten a lot of. I really like their outdoor flea market there too. It's just not really a thing anymore. Now all flea markets are just. Flea markets are all like these Mexicans that bring junk, just modern retail junk, and it's not like it used to be. It used to be people just. They had all kinds of used stuff. They clean out basements and sell it, and they're going to show up there in the morning. They're leaving with nothing. And that was the thing, and it's just not that way anymore now. Unfinished projects as filing cabinets are worth their weight in gold as patch panel material. Oh, I bet they are. As nice flat panels. A lot of them are American made. Yep, I can see that. 38 still prefers to flip the pages in a book. Yeah. Miss the old flea markets and the drive-in movies. Yep. We have a flea market tries to run up here at the Starlight drive-in movie, but it's not getting any traction. And I don't know what the future for the drive-in movie is itself because Peggy that ran it is gone now. So I guess this season or part of this season was their first without her. I have no idea. I think last movie I went to there, they were playing Jaws. So I thought, I'll go to that. There's no modern movie I really want to go to. File cabinets can be used for tool storage. Yeah, they can. They can, but I have more than I need. Need to get rid of some. I even have some that are just, I have some been up, they won't open and close. So, unfinished project. If you want to pay the modest amount it would cost to ship them, I'll send it to you. Jaws is 2 years older than me. So, but I like the movie. It's an excellent movie. Swap meets are still a thing. Yes, they are. Swap meets are still a thing. And I was noticing a lot of the guys that bring the parts, like to say Farmington swap meet, the Mopar swap meet in May. Same parts come out every year. B&R uses 6 filing cabinets for storage engine parts. Yeah, I do too. I have a filing cabinet right over here. It's got carburetors in it. But it's just time to untrashy my shop. And I've got several that need to go. I've got several I've kept that are nice ones, locking and all that good stuff. Gosh, I've got 2 of them downstairs that they're safes. They're filing cabinet safes. And it has a tag on the back that tells you they weigh 650 pounds a piece. I would have moved all those out of the office in 2000. Would have been 2009. I don't think I could move them today. They've been sitting ever since. Glad I put them where they went. No swap meets here. People want a mint for every little piece. Yeah, and they have those indoor swap meets that are kind of like retail stores and they charge rent. There's nobody there. Those are creepy. Those are so not my thing. 1 filing cabinet for manuals and 1 for electrical stuff. Yeah, well, I think we all do that. What's in my throat bothering me? Old McDonald was 14 and saw Jaws, didn't swim in the lake for 2 years. Oh, dude. You're what, 63? You want 5 more? Well, B&R, if I got the room, if I still have them at Sykeston and I got the room, I don't have any problem bringing them. I guess it's going to depend on how much stuff I'm picking up there and taking back. What I'm looking for, and I keep missing at Virginia Tech auction, is I want a stainless, like a 7-8 foot food prep table or laboratory table that has the backsplash, stainless, the shelf underneath. I've missed a couple at auction, and I'm telling you, I'm thinking about just putting a smackdown on the bid on the next one I see, because I'm gonna make it happen. I really want one for doing transmissions. One-Eyed Cat says, I'm in Ohio. How much you bet I can bring home some Mopar parts I don't really need? I think there's 100% chance. How's Uncle Sonny liking your 2025 plans with that Valiant? I could use another U.S. General 52 lower cabinet. Okay. Yes, 2-ax. How do you like that? 301. Don't forget to check the funeral homes. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. It wouldn't weird me out at all. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat, 9:18. Wendy, you're early. 9:37 is your normal time. Evans Mopar scored a nice set of two 10x15 rally wheels with center caps for 300. Okay, 10x15, so they got a lot of backspace. I'm taking it, or maybe a lot of front space, but they're really wide. Difficult to find. Scrap metal guy all over Chicago. That's stainless. Yeah, you see them here. I've missed some and regret it. There's actually one not too far from me down in Winston-Salem. If the thing had a little bit different, see, it's got to have the little drip edge on the front, because you tear down a transmission, you pull the pan off that thing, knock the pump out, fluid goes everywhere. I want that little edge on the front. It has way too big a one. I want to get one of those smaller edge, and that's what I'm looking for. Jeff's going to the vintage dragster auction tomorrow with first-gen Hemis and dragsters and stuff. That'll be interesting. Roy Boy, hey, welcome. Thanks for coming out tonight. Yep, just think, if I turn a morgue table into a transmission build table, just think, I build one of you guys a transmission. You think about how many people were embalmed on that table. LSS bought these Bud wheels today, and one of them's so rusted and old it won't hold air. He was headed to Miami to get on a boat to Jamaica. Okay. Andrew Nelson says, late to the party. Andrew Nelson, I've got something I want to send you. It's about TH400 drum technology. I thought it was really cool. I'm going to send you that if I remember. Man, excuse me. By the way, you see J2 and J3. He's talking about Jeff 1, Jeff 2, and Jeff 3. That will be 2-ax Jeff and his father and his son. We have all three at the No Name National. It's the only place where you see all three of them, I think. The body in the marsh. Cats on the prowl. One of the dragsters going up for auction is a semi-complete Sam Brown Dodge Dealer Direct Connection FED, front engine dragster, out of Ohio. Jeff 1 turns 71 tomorrow. Scott wants to have those sticking out the sides of his 62 Valiant. Okay. Cope, by the way, little discovery here I'm working on. This governor for the 5800 is for an A518. Just FYI. Got good numbers, but it's not a torque flight governor. Dean likes spell checks that know what you're thinking and change the syntax to suit. I don't want to think spell check knows what I'm thinking. What's the story on the 6-cylinder in the thumbnail? I'll show you. That 6-cylinder in the thumbnail is my dad's Jeep engine. So he needed the top end of it rebuilt in 2017. And yeah, I did it. Got the head all trued up and painted it and all new valves, fixed a bunch of stuff. You can really see where the block was left in it and the head and valve cover were painted. Should have focused a little better. My buddy Robert, we're topping up the fluids. Did this at his shop. Speaking of Robert, I'll show you a picture of his in a minute. Got it all together. It ran really nicely. All buttoned up with all the factory stuff. And a happy dad with the final product there. So that was worth doing. But for those of you who haven't seen, I was digging through old photos and found this. Found my friend Robert's race car here. Top loader 4-speed car. Weighed 2,700 pounds, had a 460. Well, it was a 528-inch 460. Cool car. I put a picture of that car up on my community tab on what would have been his 59th birthday. Barrow says Wilburn Racing and Transmissions is a better business name than Wilburn Crematorium and Funeral Home. Oh, I don't know. I think Wilburn Crematorium might be okay. I mean, it's Wilburn. I was asked on the witness stand one time why I didn't name my business Wilburn Real Estate. And I'm like, would you? And the peanut gallery started laughing. Her lawyer never thought of that. It was so much fun. Wilburn Real Estate. Sounds like I'm hawking for a fire insurance company. Here it says Wilburn Racing Transmission. You kill them, we chill them. Like Pinto, that's a Maverick. It's actually, it's not a Maverick. That's actually a what's the Mercury version of the Maverick? The Comet. It's the Comet, but it's the Comet based on the Maverick body. It's a 71. The front clip on it is Maverick, but the taillights are a Comet. It's a 528. It had dove heads. John Causey ported dove heads. It had a top loader 4-speed in it. 9-inch Summers Brothers stuff. 513 gear. Yes, I know 514. 514 gear. Pretty wild little car. And that picture was from 96, I believe. He ran that car with the gear jammers. Yeah, he was working on some A460 heads for it, and and all that. But he's been gone 6 years, almost 7 years now. It's a Comet. Doesn't look anything like my Maverick. It looks just like a Maverick. It's maybe not like yours. The mean little car. He ran it with a small block for years and years, and then went to a big block in '88. 301. We have a date. Yes, we do. And registration is open at nonamenationals.com. I told you I'd get you the date earlier this year. We were able to get the date earlier this year for a few reasons. And we're going to announce the specifics of the event on December the 27th, last Friday of the year. Heavens Mopars almost started my own contractor business. I was going to call it everything but doors. I actually like that. That's good. That's cool. Old McDonald used to have a 73 Comet step on the brake and ended up 2 lanes to the right. My Dark Swinger would do that. You hit the brake pedal and it would go hard left because it was had a rotten control arm bushing on the driver's side. Yes, Andrew, 301. The 4th annual AHRA No Name Nationals will be run September 18th through the 20th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2025, at the Skelton Raceway at Sikeston Drag Strip in Sikeston, Missouri. And the track is excited, as am I, and I hope all you guys are too. Shopcat liked the Maverick Comet except the 4-doors. Why not, man? That's what the Gap and Roush 4-door Maverick. That'd have been a cool one to have a car like. Unfinished project, put up the link. No Name Nationals 25 registration. Indy Swap Meet is still going pretty strong. Yeah, I'm going to be working a booth at the Indy Swap Meet for Cope February 28th and March 1st. Tuvax, Jeff, and I will be there. We'll be showcasing some of the new stuff for Cope Racing Transmissions, including the SFI 727 case. I ran out of fingers. What's the date? September 18th through the 20th. So it falls on the same weekend, but of course, as you know, when it's the same weekend, the number changes slightly. So it's September 18th through the 20th, 2025, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Will be a blast. Yes. Acme makes a good amble. Yes. Do I remember any of the details? The clutch and flywheel in the old race car. Yes, it was centered iron, and it was a Ram. I remember that. It was not one of these multi-disc soft, clutches like they have now. No, it was brutal. Who all's going to PRI? I don't reckon I will. We'll see. Two hacks will be there Thursday and Friday. Cool. Dean says, tell him I'm a cheap date. Dean, when you get your shirt, for those who haven't seen it, there's a short on Tony's Hot Rod Garage channel that shows the making of Dean Stevenson's Money Fame Community Special Edition No Name National shirt. And because Dean is in New Zealand, the shirt is printed upside down. So it reads right side up for us. So I'm hoping when Dean gets the shirt, he can put a picture up of him wearing it on his community tab, but he needs to take the picture and turn the picture upside down. So it'll be right side up for us. Centered iron is an on-off switch. Yes, it is. You aren't kidding. Oh, yeah, I know. That car was wicked. Yeah, Jeb Yoder's one of Rich's trolls over there, and they get downright entertaining. Rich will be there with his new RV. I don't know. I don't know what Rich is doing. I wish him well. Doesn't look like it's going well, but I wish him well. BNR is going to PRI most likely on Saturday. Yeah, I hear you. Andrew says we'll have to catch up. I missed everyone this year. Had to work 7 days a week during the No Name Nationals. I was bummed. Life happens, man, but you do what you got to do. We'll look forward to seeing you in 2025. We'll have a great time. Have Dean stand on his head and not turn the picture upside down. Well, that's what I suggested Tony should do if he was going to have an upside down shirt like that. Would that Comet run on an aluminum flywheel or that just blow apart? I don't really remember the flywheel details on it. I remember he ran a 50-pound flywheel when it was a small block car, but I don't think he had that heavy flywheel in it when he went to the big block because, I mean, the cranks in those things were ridiculously heavy as it was. Dean wants to be on Rich's lives again. No, I just want Rich to straighten up and get his house in order, man, literally. LSS says, want to get off of here later. Good night. See you, man. Thanks for swinging by. Cousin Cletus, how's it going, sir? Good to see you. Danny Boyd doesn't want to have to use a dry sump and fuel injection to be upside down in New Zealand. Cletus says, I'm racing this No Name Nationals. Hope y'all are ready. You heard Cletus call it. 300 days, 2 hours, and 25 minutes? All right. Aluminum flywheels usually for road racing? I don't know. I knew he ran a really heavy flywheel with the small block. The small block was a mean little thing. It was like it seems like if I remember, it was like a 336-inch small block that had Boss 302 style heads on it. It was pretty gnarly. It was kind of like I'm thinking it was a shorter deck version similar to Andy's engine, actually. But everything was done in a much older way. Everything about a 385 is heavy. Oh, gosh. I've moved so many parts for those in his shop. He had this rack that was, that was under a table. And he put these pieces of angle in there. And they were spaced just right that you could put a crank flange up on the angle and then slide it back. Those cranks are so heavy. And he had the heaviest way possible to store them. Cletus said he was bummed he couldn't make last year's No Name Nationals. Looks like it was great. Oh, yeah, it was great. It was great. Hopefully you can make it back. I think we're going to have a bumper crop this year. There's a lot of indications we're going to have a bigger turnout this year than ever. Andrew says aluminum flywheels are a must anymore. Wasn't a high 8 seconds Ford. That car would run mid-8s. It would run in the mid-8s. It would run, I think, with he had 2 engines for it. One of them was pretty tame. I want to say in the 8th, it ran a 584. And then the big engine ran a little quicker. Which to me was just downright terrifying. Has he ever sat in that car? He was 6'3" and had really short legs and a really long torso. So when he sat in the car, I mean, he could hardly get his head in the car. But he had the pedals up so close. Those pedals were crazy uncomfortable for me. I mean, I thought the car was just scary. But he was used to it. He drove that car in high school. And then it's like anything else. It just got wilder and wilder and wilder. It was a factory. I'm not a Ford. It's some kind of GT car. It was a factory 4-speed GT car. And it just got, more and more out of hand. There's a link for Street Fox Mike. Mr. Majestic was indeed Ford tough. 2Ax has a great question here. What are you bringing to race, Cletus? And he says something bone stock. There's a hint. Hot Rod Guy Garage says, I love seeing a number on the board. Yes, sir. We have one just for you, Russell. Causey Ironhead's making that kind of power. Yeah, you should have seen these things. Maybe there's a chance. His son has everything now. Maybe we could do a little bit of content on some of that stuff one day. It's possible. I mean, it's there. I could do it. His heads are wild. Oh, Brian, that car weighed 2,700. It was light. And he ran a 3214 tire. Oh, and one of the weird things, you can't see in that picture, but he would break half-inch wheel studs. He would break one, then it would break the next one, then it would break the next one. And so since the wheels were drilled for both 4.5 and 4 3/4, the axles were drilled for 4.5 and 4 3/4. He drilled the brake rotors for both, for the 4 3/4. And the thing had 10 lugs on each side on the back. Looked like an F550. Had 10 lug wheels on the back. Oh man, it was changing those things was just, yeah. Dust Devil Brian, welcome, man. Did you get any good passes on the bird this last year? Oh man. Cletus says, if anyone beats me, they can have my used grill. Cletus, you need to do that call out video. You need to do that. And by the way, for those of you just getting here, registration is already open. People figured that out. I didn't tell them, but people figured it out. 5/8 studs are a must with manuals. Yeah, this car was before that was a common thing. It had old Summers Brothers axles in it, and you saw the wheels in the picture. So his solution, he said 5/8 would have been the way to go, but he did 10 half-inch studs. But no, we agreed that was the way to do it, just not the way he did it. Comet GTs could be had from the Ford with a 302 3-speed manual. And it could have been a 3. I remember it was a manual transmission car, but I didn't know him back when he was driving it in high school. .513's big block Ford 428 recall top loader is a 242. He actually changed the first gear ratio on his. If I remember right, he would send it off to Liberty, and they would change the ratio on the first gear. If he were still alive, I would have him on here and could do a series of interesting live streams with him. But he is not. So I'm probably the best you got to even remember any of this stuff. There's video of that car running on some old VHS tapes that last time I saw were in a wicker basket. And about once a year, I will remind his widow and say, hey, I would love to digitize those. So one of these years, they'll turn up or whatever, and I'll do it. If I digitize that, I'm going to put up some cool content. That car carry the wheels. It was a beast. Great content I could put up. There's only one video on all of YouTube that has that car in it. And I found it, and I was so thrilled to find it. It's at Farmington Dragway. I don't know if it's a gear jammer race or what, but you can see 2 passes with it. And both times, of course, it's in the far lane from where they were filming. But it was good to see. I don't remember what year all that was, but it was earlier than that 96 photo there, because you could look at the paint and tell it was before he had it lettered, and the car wasn't nearly as wild then. The car then was running low 6s. I'm just guessing it was like a 630 car, 620 car then. But anyway, I was glad to find it. Animal Jim was a wild man. Yes. Was that a 460 40 over with a 4-inch 300? No, it was a It was a 460, 140 over with a block half full of concrete. And I want to say he had a smaller journal connecting rod on the crank, but it wasn't it was a factory crank, and they were all cast. No Name Nationals is the week after Mo Party this year. Perfect. Yes. It's the last 3 years it's been the week after Mo Party. And the first year I want to say it was 2 weeks after Mo Party. Your late friend and Animal Jim will be best buds. Yeah. Has the 2025 rules been set? I have for right now. Registration is open. There is still the old AHRA rule book there. One thing I really want for this year, if I can get it done for the end of the year, I want the No Name Nationals to have its own rule book that will just streamline, because there's so much in that AHRA rule book that we don't need, like for different kinds of classes and things like that. I want to come up with a shorter rule book. It's still going to embrace all the same safety, but it's going to be made for the No Name Nationals. It'll make it a lot easier to follow. Speaking of block filler, has anyone used it after machining? Don't know. That's a good Andrew Nelson question. I can tell you that if Andrew's still in here. T's Good Time Garage. What's going on, man? Better late than never, right? Evening all. Glad you could swing by. Appreciate it. Peckerwood Customs is going to check. I'm welcome now. Yeah. Well, you're always welcome at the event. And incorporate 2 or 3 events over a few weeks. Look at flights this far out. Yeah, do it. We'd love to have you. Andrew Nelson says yes. Okay. I knew it. I knew he'd be a good one to ask. Dust Devil says just registered. Cool. .333 Coleman and Cushman rules. He did. Robert's stuff ran well. Yes, it did. I really wish, of course, he was still here. He built good stuff. He really did. He's taken combinations other people have had and using pretty much the same parts made more power. He was just good like that. But that was his life. That's what he knew. That was his thing. That's his only thing, his only hobby. It's all he did. He was a good tuner. And when it came to the rule book, he had the philosophy of Smoky Eunuch. So look out. Stuff with Cletus says, no other event like No Name Nationals. I try and explain it, but there's so much going on, only racing. Yeah, racing is just going on, but the event is about the community. But thank you. Appreciate that. Andrew says, same process, poured it in. Well, there you go. Did you try touching it with a hone to see if anything moved, Andrew? We've got Australia and New Zealand and Canada and USA. We need Mexico to show up. Where's Mexicans back when you need him? We need Mexico to show up. Then we got all 5 countries represented. All right. Danny Boyd is talking about omelets with kiwi fruit. I've been enjoying my new flavor of oatmeal lately. Really digging on the apple oatmeal. Dean says hydrogen sulfide. The sniffer dogs would pick up on it early. I'll tell you what. One time I had to fly back from a training class, and I did not get a chance to get a shower and clean guns and everything before I had to board. And I'm like, man, if they're sniffing in this airport, I am so getting detained. And it's just luck of the draw they weren't. I cruised right through. Like, man, they weren't even swabbing. Sometimes they swab your fingers and they swab your bags for powder residue. Oh, I'd have set that thing off like a blue light special at Kmart. But I don't think anything bad would have happened. I have friends who've had that happen before. Like they'll have a jacket on from training, and they just usually it's pretty cool. But I mean, I can smell it. I mean, you have to shoot a lot for you can really just smell that on a coat. Andrew says, Board didn't move at all. It was a big block Chevy. Okay, that's good. Awesome. Peckerwood says I get tested everywhere for sure, every single time I fly here. Yeah, I've got a few interesting flying stories, but one of these years we're going to do a live stream that's all about firearms and training and flying with guns and stuff. And I probably won't do it on a Friday night, but it's interesting. A hound dog is 3,500 times better at finding gunpowder residue than Mama Stevenson. Jeff's engine will put my car deep in the 10s. My engine will put his car deep in the 13s. Jeff's car makes some power. He really do. You look at the power to weight on that T-Bird, that thing's not fooling around. Be cool if Venom would run again. That race between him and JMJ was epic. Yes, it would, and he's really close. So if you see Daniel, tell him we're looking for that to happen. Wendy says I will not fly ever. Well, that's too bad. It's cool up there. I hate getting on the plane. I hate all that going through the security. I hate that part. Everything else is great. Andrew Nelson says, why are you filling it? How much power are you making? I think he's running nitromethane in it, Andrew. Dougster says, so what's the third favorite engine behind the big block Chevy and small block Chevy? Big block Mopar. Depends who you're asking. I like a big block Chevy a lot, actually. I think they're great engines. I guess my favorite engine probably will just always be a small block Mopar. 4200 Vortec. Okay. Peckerwood Customs flew across the country to bury Mom's ashes, and the only time I ever got tested in the airport over there, I'd take off my belt and empty my pockets. You have to do that every time here. Oh, they don't like my belt either. So when I travel, if I can do this, my belt is not like too travel friendly. It's you could tow a car with this belt. I usually just put it in my check bag. In my check bag. I have to fly with a check bag, of course. But this belt is, it's a 1/4 inch thick. I think it's 1,000 denier nylon. It is really heavy. Made by SOE. It's, load rated buckle. It's a heavy, heavy belt. You could literally pull an engine with that belt. Not even kidding. I'm always afraid the airport will not like it, like they would think it could be a weapon or something. I never wanted to take that chance. It's a great belt. So I always pack it, in the check. If you want that belt, you can order it. SOE. I could put up a link for them. They make really good stuff. I'll put up a link to their site right here. They make the best operator gear there is, period. You need belts, chest rig, mag pouches. I use their, for my med kit, that's their pouch. Just really good stuff. But you want any of their stuff, there's their link. Made in America in Camden, Tennessee. And usually his stuff generally is just lifetime warranty. You manage to break it or wear it out, they honor it. But I'll tell you one thing, they don't suffer any foolishness. If they give you exact instructions on ordering, you follow them. Those guys they're tough. Great people though. They're like, you know what he's like? He's like the soup Nazi. If you follow the directions, you will get the best product. If you don't, you will not have a good experience. But I've never had a problem with it. They've always been great to me. Dougster says, my axle doesn't leak anymore since No Name Nationals. What we did that day worked great. Danny Boyd randomly says, Jimmy Carter's an old fart. He's 100, literally. Andrew says, been over 690 with a stock block. No fuel, never ran nitro. Tons of nitrous, never nitro. Okay. Unfinished Project puts up a link. Carter aficionados only. Sounds interesting. BNR says there's a few Pontiac V8 guys left, maybe 20, 30 around the USA. We gather every Wednesday night, DCI Pontiac Live. Okay. Sounds fun. I take it was something to do with the vent, Ray? I still want to see Dougster put in that CRT shift back. Canberra juice, yep. If Mopar ceased to exist right now, it'll be a hardcore Pontiac guy. Mopar has already ceased to exist in new cars. Andrew Nelson says, no, there's only 4 of you. There's not 20 or 30. Probably right. Only 300 days. I better get started. It's going, Vic. Days are burning now. They're burning now. And registration is open. I got a target number on registration, how many I want to hit and when. And I think I know what I'm going to do if I hit it. This means we do something fun and cool at the event if we hit it. That's all it means. It means we spend more money. It means you spend exactly the same. Junkyard D. Glad you're here. Just got done tucking Carrie away for the winter. Yeah. Oh, your winners are winners. Ooh. Yeah, 299 days. If it takes you 3 days of driving to get there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, his winters suck. Yeah, I bet. Well, I bet. How far are you from Canada where you are, Junkyard D? If you were to drive straight north to the Canadian border. Time's flown by pretty quick tonight. Gosh, we're 5 minutes to go. About 200 miles. Yeah, wow. Gosh. You could go to Canada for dinner and come back. Oh my gosh. I've never been to Canada. I'm not very Canadian compliant, if you know what I mean. Shopcat says there's a really sweet 57 Chevy near my work. I saw it today on the street, tarped up. Too nice to be in a garage. I think our buddy 220 over there is actually interested in actually selling his 57 for a real price now. I want to say, I heard he said like $2,500. If somebody in our community gets that 57 from Rich, I'm willing to freshen up the power glide in it for free. So I'd kind of like to, I think it'd be justice if somebody in this community wound up with that car. Yep, Dougster, same thing. They can day trip it to Canada. He says his track's about an hour from the border. We have a lot of Canadian racers. I wonder how much of a pain it is, though, to get a race car through there. Lowry's Garage, hello. Thanks for coming in. I think Rich wants $2,500 for it. If somebody in this community winds up with that car of Rich's, I'll freshen up the power glide in it for him for free. I made that deal to a couple other people that were interested in buying it. Same thing I would have done for Rich if is the biggest word in the dictionary. Send us pics. Iron power. Yes, it's an iron power glide. And the pics, Andrew, go over to Rich's channel. I can't believe I'm even suggesting that. And in and amongst all the self-loathing and complaining about people, you'll see it over there. It's a rust bucket. And it's, it was a running, driving car, although not very well when he got it, but it's a basket case now. And it's a rust bucket, but it's still a 57 for $2,500. Good night, Aunt Nancy. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you. That guy's nuts. P and R says that guy's nuts. I like that. Dean always gives my honor a report card on my behavior. Does that 57 come with extra white grease for the hand tight bolts? Oh, man. Anyway, I think it'd be kind of ironic if somebody in this community wound up with that car. And then we could pitch in and make it run and drive, what we really wanted to do back then. Roy Boys says, adios, he's out. See you, man. He's ruined everything about it. You'll have to undo everything and start. Oh, yeah, it's a disaster. I mean, don't think you're getting a partial restoration when you talk with him. But, hey, I'd like to see somebody wind up with it. Bruce is in the house. Lori says, hi, hello, how are you guys? I'll be live for just a few seconds more, but thanks for stopping by. He's blocked me. Oh, yeah, I've been blocked over there for years. I got blocked over there. For those of you who don't know, Rich felt the need to lie about having his engine together and running, and I don't know why. I mean, it's perfectly okay to say it's not, for goodness sakes. But he wanted to lie about it, and we called him on it. And an unfinished project, and I bet him $100 that he couldn't do a short of it running with tomorrow's newspaper. And he came unglued and blocked us both, and we've been blocked for years. But we really if anybody else winds up with the car, look like my internet blinked. I don't know if Tony's going live tonight or not. I think it was iffy. I don't know if he will, but if he does, that's great. I haven't seen him in here, so I don't think so. All in all, it's worth every bit of $2,500, but I'm next to positive he wouldn't sell it to me for $2,500. Exactly. You're talking about a guy who doesn't like barrows. What does that tell you? But anyway, our time is up tonight, guys. It's been a blast. Thanks for coming by. And yeah, we'll be live again. We got some exciting stuff that's going to be coming out in December. We'll have a special guest on that you all know. You're going to be seeing some new stuff from the No Name Nationals coming out. And then, of course, we're going to have our announcement live on the 27th. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But until then, we'll see you guys next week. Later.